So today we are having the conversation of why do people like situationships. The reason watu wanapenda situationship ni because number one, haina accountability. So this is how most situationships start. So inaanzanga tu na ile mmejuana, probably the guy has invited the lady over and then mlivibe kabisa, and then you're at that point where as a lady probably unataka kufeel your companionship, which situationship inawezanga kukupee, and also as a guy una feel enyewe by the way sahi, as much as siko ready kuingia kwa relationship, I don't mind having one lady around. Okay, so most of the times wale watu unapata wanaingia situationship ama wanajipata kwa situationship are people who are not ready to commit, lakini then again they are not ready to define what it is. Okay, so situationship haikwangi, you can't really say ati ni friends with benefits, you can't really say ati ni bestie, you can't really say ati umse ni beshte yako, ati you are just chilling. So it's just ni kitu hainanga mbele ama nyuma. So it's a situationship, alright? It's a situation yenye imewaleta pamoja, alright? So the reason why people are pushing it to be a situationship, to almost sound like a relationship, is because it's almost like you are exclusive to each other, lakini not entirely. So there is no accountability. Siwezi kuja nianze kuambia dem ati wewe mbona uko na huo chali fulani, ataanza kukuuliza kwani we are anything, kwani mimi am anything to you, kwani wewe ni chali yangu, una get? So there is always going to be that question. So there is no accountability. So what does that mean? That means hata mse akikona na mtu mwingine, they don't say anything about it, analenga tu. Hata akiona umepigiwa simu na mse mkiwa na yeye, hawezi kuuliza swali yoyote. So there is never accountability. Hata akiona una text mtu mwingine, they will never ask you why, because situationships don't have accountability. Si kama relationship ati nitaanza kukuuliza huyo ni nani mnaongea na yeye, why are you talking to them, why are you not respecting me. The other reason why people love situationships is because they literally can end anytime. Okay, unajua wale wasewa probably hawataki kukaa place moja for long, so you find that this is a person mwenye anataka kuingia ajibambe, apate probably whatever they wanted in that thing, and then they leave. So these are people who are non-committal. I mean, hawapendi kucommit. So anytime you find somebody who doesn't like to commit, of course atajipata amesettle sana kwa situationship, because a situationship inamuoffer that place where nobody is asking them to settle down, nobody is asking them to be in a relationship with them. So wako tu hapo. And don't be mistaken, I feel like madem wanapenda situationships more than men, because men most of the times hawako kwa situationship. The lady is the one thinking wako kwa situationship, ati ni kama wako pamoja ama ni kama wako exclusive, but most of the times unapatanga the guy is going out with other ladies, ni venye tu huyu dem hajui ama probably bado haja find out. But again remember, hakuna accountability. So hata kama anaenda out na watu wengine, this lady wouldn't know and wouldn't find out, because either hapiti simu yake ama angalii kitu kwa simu yake. That's the other thing. The other reason also why people love situationship ni because as much as hamko defined, inakupea hiyo companionship. Una feel enyewe ni mse unaweza call anytime. So that's why you find that even in a situationship, people are loyal to each other to some extent. Like nikipigia dem flani simu and we're in a situationship, it's almost like ako more likely kukubali than even ule mtu mwenye ako in a relationship with a lady. Kwa nini? Juu wao sasa lazima wasumbuane, lazima kukuwe na drama hapa kule. But situationship, it's almost very clear that we are here for companionship, and we are going to be here for as long as it will take. Situationships huisha hivi, one day somebody wakes up and realizes nimekaa kwa hii kitu sana, anajitoa ama nakaa chini, feelings zinaanza kuingia. That's how situationships end. But the reason why people love them is because inakupe that sense of companionship for that time that you will be there. Hata kama ita last mwezi moja, ita last miezi mbili, utakuwa in that space where you feel enyewe by the way umse ananipe ile companionship nataka. And we all need companionship. Why? That's why you realize even when you are single, kuna mtu bado unaongelesha, kuna mse bado unataka kucall, kuna kale ka WhatsApp, kuna kale ka message ka asubuhi unataka kupata, kale ka good morning, unataka tu kufeel kuna mse una text kwa maisha yako even if you guys are not together. So situationship ita offer that, alright? Another reason why people love situationships, it's because most of the times ziko fun. Sika relationship, amko hapo ati sijui mnaholdiana to high esteem, ati mko hapo mnaambiana wewe unajua una cheat, unajua mimi si cheat. Hakunaga hizo story. So basically most situationships hazinanga drama. So it's always just fun. It's always either mna spend time pamoja ama mna watch movie pamoja, ama ni mastori mnapiga pamoja. So situationship is really not like a relationship. It's not structured in any way, so it's more fun than a relationship. And the other reason why also people love situationship ni juu wanajua maybe this thing can start as a situationship. They hope that maybe this thing can start as a situationship and then to end up pamoja. And mostly you find ni madem sana sana wanafikirianga hivyo, wanaonanga if I go into a situationship with this guy, yes, sahi anasema hataki story ya titles, hataki story ya kuitoa either hataki story ya kuitoa majina mingi mingi ama kudefine what this thing is. So you find that if a lady feels like probably this person ataendelea like the more atakaa pamoja the more ataendelea kumpenda, unapata hapo ndio most of the times ladies want a situationship ama don't mind a situationship because they know it can morph into a relationship and maybe even morph to a marriage. And of course kuna zenye zime end up hivyo, walianza kama mabeshte, ikakuwa situationship, ikakuwa relationship and wakaenda pamoja. Okay, reason nyingine inafanyanga watu wapende situationship is because there is no feelings involved, so you're not likely to get hurt. So if you are somebody who is trying to heal, if you are somebody who is from a breakup, unapata most people will end up in a situationship because sasa ametoka point yenye either umse alimhurt ama umse alimbeba ujinga ama alimtake for granted. So once they are transitioning, as they are healing, anajipata ameingia kwa situationship because now amepata mtu mwenye anampea attention, amepata mtu mwenye anamuelewa and there is no feelings involved. So you guys are just spending time, is only that sasa mna spend time more than friends would. You're getting things more than a friend would. Okay, so basically friends with benefits, unapata more than a friend. All right, so that's the other thing why people love situationships. The other reason ni juu you don't carry any responsibility to this person. As much as mko pamoja, you don't carry responsibility. Yeah, you see, as a guy when you're in a relationship, probably dem anataka kukupa ile pressure ya you have to cater for probably her hair, you have to cater for the things that she needs, anataka umtengeneze nywele. But you see, when you're in a situationship, most of the times hizo vitu utazifanya because unataka kufanya, not because huyu amekuforce ufanye, especially for a guy. So you don't carry any responsibility. So umse hata akwe mna mashida aje, you really don't carry any responsibility either for their mental health ama either for what they are going through in their life personally. You, at the end of the day, you guys are not defined. So hakuna pali unabeba responsibility. You are not like their person. So if you are not their person, it means they don't even depend on you. I expect umfanyie anything. All right, they don't expect too much from you. And that's also the other thing. The reason why people love situationship ni juu, like hawa ni wase wenye wanataka minimal pressure. So somebody who probably he just wants minimal pressure, even if it's a lady, and I feel too, mi sahi sitaki kudate, sitaki relationship, sitaki mtu mwenye ananipe drama, sitaki, yani somebody who doesn't want any kind of pressure in their life, they end up in a situationship because it's almost like the in between kukua single na kukua kwa relationship. So because hataki kukua single na hataki kukua kwa relationship, anachagua situationship jiko hapo katikati. It doesn't come with so much baggage. That's what most people think. All right. And also the last thing yenye nitasema ni, anytime you think about a situationship, I want you to look at it from this perspective. This is somebody who is not ready to commit. Okay, so huu ni mse mwenye hata akienda hapo, they really don't want to give themselves to this person. That's why you find even some situationships watu huko sana because you're trying to get to know more about this person, but this person doesn't want to open up. What am I talking about? So maybe you are thinking of a person mwenye they feel like they've gone through so much trauma in their life, sahi anataka tu kujibamba. So yeye ukianza kumuuliza vitu personal, ukianza kumuuliza vitu za familia, hadi anaweza kunyamazia. Why? And that's why you'll find even some people will tell you, mi ukianza kuniuliza stories za personal na stories za familia, I will end this thing. Why are they telling you that? They're telling you that because at the end of the day, yeye hataki msi anaingilia kwa their personal issues. So somebody who is going into a situationship ni mtu mwenye they really don't want to open up about themselves. Ni mse mwenye hataki kushare anything about themselves. So anytime you find yourself in a situationship, usiulize too much. Okay, you just have normal conversations, short conversations. So nasikianga hizi conversations zenye you don't go too deep into their life. You never ask them about their family, you never ask them about their lives, you never ask them about sijui wazazi wao ama siblings wao. That's a situationship for you. And you find that most situationships zina coming to an end when you start to cross that boundary. Unaona, like you as a guy probably if you get point to feel hey wacha nijue more about this person, you have started to cross the boundary. Even for ladies, if you start asking the man too many questions, unataka kujua everything he does, unataka kujua how much money he makes ama what kind of a job he does, na maybe hataki kukuambia, utaona huo mse atakutoka ama atakunyamazia. Why? Because now they are there for the situationship where you guys are not responsible for each other, hamholdiani accountable. Okay, so nikimalizia nitasema as much as you're in a situationship right now, you have to ask yourself, like, is that situationship turning into a relationship? Okay, because at the point where it starts turning into a relationship, it has to be defined. Lazima the guy go back aseme, okay, we've tried this thing, tumeona probably tumefika hapa, we are good to be together. They have to define the relationship. Inaitangwa sijui DTR, define the relationship. Why is that important? So that you don't spend 4 years 5 years with a person, hamjai define, hata hauwezi jua kama huyu ni mtu wako ama si mtu wako. You can't even claim them, and yet unasema ati uko na huyu mtu. So to you in your mind uko na huyu mtu, but yeye hako na wewe. So anytime you want to transition from a situationship to a relationship, it has to be defined. You have to define the relationship. Mseme okay, sawa, tumejuana kama friends, in this time we were not keeping each other in check na nini na nini, but if you want to transition to become a relationship, now there has to be titles. Lazima kukwe na boyfriend, lazima kukwe na girlfriend. All right, that's the most important thing when you're trying to transition from a situationship to a relationship. But let me know kwa comment section, what do you think? Why do you love situationships? And kama uko kwa situationship sahi, why are you in that situationship? What's your reason?
Gachin Lion.